So that's going to be Xuerui out next. And she'll be up against Sun Yu. Both Chinese players. Sun Yu ranked 15th in the world, 5th seed here. Xuerui ranked 3rd and top seed in the women's event. So top seed was rightly posted at the very top of the draw, and she has had a sterling run through. Toughest test being against her Bing Zhao in the quarterfinals, where actually Li won in 30 minutes there. So the defending champion then in the women's singles was Bing Zhao. She was the 6th seed here, the lefty. World ranked 12th this week, but managed to make it all the way to the quarterfinals. But then Li Xuerui dispatched of her in just 30 minutes, 21-11, 21-6. But you can imagine the goal for Li Xuerui would be back to #1 again. But she needs to oust Ratchanok Intanon and Carolina Marin as well to do just that, because Ratchanok Intanon has worked her way to #1 in the world for the first time, and delighted in doing so. And it was quite a historical feat, because Ratchanok managed to win 3 Super Series events in a row in 3 consecutive weeks. A historic first ever by a player. Comeback was remarkable against Sun Yu, who of course is today's finalist there, as you can see in the graphic just on the bottom right there. She's had a great tournament, and she'll be looking to outdo her efforts in the Singapore Open last week, losing to Chanon. The umpire leading the way, and then Kai Fengjie. And the scorer, Ernie Shaw from Canada in this one. Our players, Li Xuerui out first, followed by the Amazonian presence of Sun Yu, very tall, very strong, 22-year-old. 25-year-old is Li. Former world #1 player in right, in the red. Well, it's glum business faces all round. Sun Yu electing to stay the end that she's at, making Li Xuerui walk. So the world ranked 3rd player up against the world ranked 15th player. Sun Yu's been as high as 9th in the world in April last year. She broke the top 10 for the first time with that win at the Singapore Open, unable to defend her crown of 2015. There we are, her Vikings, 22 years old, very tall. Born in Liaoning province. Chongqing from China. It's the birthplace of Li. Slightly shorter, as you can see, ranked 3rd in the world, 25-year-old. Been as high as #1. She was there for quite a while as well, from 20th of December 2012 to 2014 as well. Now, that is what gets interesting. The head-to-head showing, quite something. That one in favour of Li. 5-1. Quite a stranglehold. And the one that Xuerui won, was 21-13, 21-13 at the Yonex All England Open last year, 2015 in March. But a win nevertheless, and it was in straight games. Pretty emphatic scoreline. Their last encounter was at the Korean Open. That was in September. 3 close game affair where Lee came through as second seed in the Korean Open, 21-19. So just about to get underway then. Just doing a little shadowing.
Ladies and gentlemen, on my right, Xuerui, China, and on my left, Xuerui, China. Xuerui to serve, not all, play.
So Xuerui to get us underway. Just spilling long over the back line from the start then, Lee.
One love.
You'd imagine that head-to-head
One love.
adds a little bit more expectation on Lee. Son, 3 years her junior, has nothing to lose, so she can play slightly freer in that regard, you'd imagine.
1-0.
Wonderful tumbling net shot there from Lee, and a gesture of apology. Oh, beautiful. Great use of the court, spreading the court so nicely. When you see Xuerui in the flesh, she's got an intimidating presence about her, and she magnetizes people to her with her presence, frankly. Very powerful, strong in the quads. Xuerui, well, far from diminutive in stature, but a little bit more slight, but with it, perhaps super agile.
Service over.
Still finding their range, these two. Coach respectfully taking to the stands.
Service over. 3-4.
Good straight net shot there. Again, opening up the court wonderfully in doing so. So still nothing between them. Yes. A thunderous sound to that final smash kill.
4-3.
Opting to go at the body of the long-ranging limbed Xuerui. That's spilled wide as well. Oh, this player, runner-up to Ratchanok Intanon, she's played her 3 times in quite quick succession. She lost in the semi-finals of the Thai Masters to Intanon as well, and also in the All England Open in the first round. So it's a face that she doesn't want to be running into too often, especially on the form that Ratchanok is in as well right now as current world #1 in her recent efforts. Phenomenal. So pleased for her. She's worked so hard to get to that. It's been well documented how tough her training regime has been. But of course, if you want to get to the top, there has to be a price paid. She's preparing, obviously, to beat the best players in the world on a regular basis. with that sort of mentality. That's what it's all about. If you want gold, you've got to beat them. Which means training very, very hard and preparing for the worst case scenario against you at all times. Oh, wonderful from Lee. After a long, grueling rally. So the powerful frame of Sun Yu against the super nimble agility of the world number 3. So you'd imagine for Xuerui, the goal would be to get back to world number 1. I'm sure she's working as hard as she can to achieve. For Sun Yu, well, she wants to elevate that ranking again and encroach into the top 10, I'm sure, for the second time in her young career. Only 22 years old, the player in yellow and blue. Oh, it's hands down from the lines judge. Don't have the challenge option here because it's a Grand Prix gold as opposed to a Super Series event. Just that one level below. We'll see it on our replay. They don't have that advantage. Well, that would suggest it might have clipped the line. Good job, lines judge. Wonderful. Straight in the body of Sun.
8-5.
Look at this. Using the court so well on that backhand drive. Chest bound. Very difficult for tall, rangy players to get out of the way of shots like that. Oh, it's missed.
7-8.
So it's a 2-point game at the moment. Maneuveringly all over the court, just missing the final smash to her frustration. Well, there's only been one run of 3 consecutives. That was from Sun Yu. Mid-game. But Lee so deadly accurate with her attacks. So super agile in defense. Look at this. Sun just pressing. It seems, and I'm not that au fait with the conditions here, but it seems the drift today is going from left to right on your picture because Sun has missed a lot over to that right side. To be fair, we've got long dangly flags of all the nations just above, just alongside my commentary position, and there is no apparent drift, but of course it's a lot higher than courtside, so hard to tell. And if it is, it's very, very subtle. So she heads to the mid-game interval then with a 3-point advantage, does Xuerui, and Sun Yu with it all to do. It's been a close game so far. Not an awful lot between them, but score a fair representation of what's been going on, you'd suggest. So 10 minutes played, and it's Xuerui 11-8 up. Something
10 seconds. 10
quite
seconds.
interesting was the way that Bing Zhou was dispatched as defending champion in the quarterfinals by Li so emphatically in that quarterfinal match. 21-11, 21-6 in just 30 minutes. Li gave her an absolute masterclass, frankly. Found it. She's found the line. Sun frustrated. Sort of stare, a death stare to the lines judge from Sun Yu at the end of that point, but Li kept the upper hand throughout that point with some really accurate shots and sublime agility. Four points separate these two Chinese players. Good block from Sun.
9-12.
At the moment, the only subtle difference is that on occasion, Sun has looked, and this is said very respectfully, just a little cumbersome relative to Li Xuerui. A little exposed in that regard. Too much on the serve.
Service over. 13-10.
Didn't miss by much.
Service over.
Well, that's the first unforced error net shot from Li, who you feel at the moment is that little bit more resilient when the rally goes long. Well, there's smacks of desperation from Sun Yu occasionally because she's having to play very, very close to lines. And more often than not, she's out quite a lot of the time. It shows that, you know, she's a little desperate, really. And I think sort of feeling it when she's involved in these longer, tougher rallies. Li's speed, agility, and dexterous racket head control coming to the fore. So again, 4 points separate them, with Li winning 2 in a row. Well, a well-contested rally by Sun Yu there, just manoeuvring the shuttle well around the court. And a bit greedy with the angle on the slice there from Li Xuerui. Two relatively unforced errors then from Li, surprisingly, just when she was in a commanding position, finding it tough to extend that run from 15-11 up. And Su fights back. encouraging for the younger Chinese player in yellow. 3 points in a row. That's a good indication of momentum. And a fist pump to boot. Oh, shame. And the run of 3 in a row comes to an end then. Lee working very hard there with that deep clear. She's frustrated with that. She was dictating the point nicely. So Li Xuerui taking her time. Accurate, beautiful reverse slice. Coming around the inside of the shuttle so well. We'll get another look at it here. Here it comes. There, look at that. Shuttle just dropping like a stone. It's so tough to read. So it's a 3-point game. And Lee, 3 points away from that target of 21 to get the opening game her way. Sun Yu, well, she'll be desperate to draw on those memories from the Yonex All England Open of last year, last March. She works so hard to claw back to 14-15, but just of late, it's Lee with 3 consecutive points.
Service over. 15-18.
Nobody able to get a run more than 3 so far. Tight net shot, straight one from Lee. Just been that little bit more frugal in error, and her accuracy impeccable more often than not. Look at that. And Sun, such a strong athlete, but unable to dig that one out. Oh, yes. Hard, flat drive to finish. So, 5 game point opportunities then for Lee. That's a generous cushion. Bit of sympathy applause from the crowd as the underdog retrieves one of the 5 game points. Still a lot to do here though. But she does have the advantage of her own serve. Yeah. Again, the reverse slice gets the game 1. It's the opening game then in favour of the top seed, Li Xuerui, 21-16. It's been a very effective passage of play, that. Going deep to the backhand corner and then following up with the reverse slice after 16 minutes, after 21 minutes, I should say. She is 21-16 up. So it's a juicy order of play on finals day. Next up, we're going to have Chen Long, the top seed in the men's event, and we're currently watching Li Xuerui, of course, the top seed in the women's event. Chen Long up against the international icon Lin Dan, the second seed, a man who's won 5 titles here himself over the years. Chen Long's won the last 2 head-to-head showings. Chen Long has won the title here in 2011 and 12 as well. So that's going to be a cracker. That's up next, following this women's singles. And at the moment, it's all Li Xuerui. She's hit the ground running from the off and kept her nose in front throughout that opening game. A run of 4 was the maximum consecutive points run. Indeed, 3. Make a mistake there, apologies. Runs of 3 for both.
Second game.
A very close game throughout.
Prix.
So on to game 2 then. It's Li to get us underway. Oh, that's a wonderful turnaround. How did she retrieve that point early on? The shuttle was well behind her out of desperation. But that's a great point to win. That'll hit the highlights reel, that one. There, that's where she turned it around. Good leave. So in keeping with their previous 6 matches then, Li Xuerui with the stranglehold over the head-to-heads 5-1. Seems to be moving that way again in this encounter. Yeah, good quick close to the front court from Sun. Ever alert. Those powerful upper legs helping her to really pounce there. Well, that was an effective shot in the opening game for Li. I'm wondering if that is a drift issue, because Sun made quite a few mistakes down that side of the court, wide to the right in her time at this end in the last game. Oh, Houdini-esque. She got out of jail there so well with the slice. Take a look at that. Deep clear, but then that one there. So tough to get a read. It's high risk, but it got her out of jail very, very effectively. Well, it was the deceptive early return that really set the point up for Sun there.
3-4.
Was in the driving seat thereafter and didn't relinquish the power. Oh, wonderful. Into the right ankle of Sun.
4-3.
A wry smile of frustration. It was a very short lift and it got what it deserved. So on the evidence of what we've seen, there's not been a lot between these two. Runs of no more than 3 points. One accelerates away and the other pegs back pretty quickly. As the rankings would suggest, the 3rd in the world up against the 15th player in the world.
5-3.
But a real test for Xuerui. And if she's to crack the top 10, possibly even the top 5, these are the kind of players that she needs to be getting on top of, you'd imagine. But that, no mean feat, let's be honest. Xuerui is current Olympic champion from London 2012. She's a real handful. Vast experience. Oh, the luck of the net. Yeah, talking about the experience of Li. Recent titles in the German Open, China Open in November of last year and October of last year, the Denmark Open as well. 3 finals as well, the Asian Champs, Chinese Taipei and Indian Open. 5 quarterfinals, 3 round of 16 appearances, so consistently quarterfinals, semis, finals. That's just how she rolls from week to week. For Xuerui, not quite so. Round of 16s, quarters, you know. Okay, so runner-up that last week in Singapore. Wonderful. And there's just an example of the super agility of Li.
7-4.
No doubting Xuerui's power. But she doesn't quite have the levels of deception that Li does. Yeah, powerful finish.
5-7.
And again, Li with that 7-4 advantage being pegged back. Neither player allowed a run of 4 so far throughout this match. Oh, again, just spilling over the back line. And again, Li starts to build momentum, you feel. Well, it was the slice from Lee that got Su into a world of trouble there. This one here, look at that, really exposing the tall player. And again, that's where Lee is so good with that super agility. In comparison, Sun on occasions can look just that little bit slower. Not ungainly, that's not fair at all. Far from it. She's a super athlete, but Lee, that little bit more agile. Slightly lighter frame. Quick in and out of the four corners of the court. Good defense from Sun Yu. Asking that extra question.
7-9.
Retrieving this point out of the fire, seemingly. That one just spilling along. Good leave. Wide, I should say. The thing with Lee is she has such great variation and tactical awareness. Changes the pace well within the rally. He's rushing Sun Yu into mistake there.
10-7.
So again, it's a three-point game in favour of Lee. Yeah, roundhead drive, not really doing much from Sun there. So, mid-game interval, 11 points to 7 for the red-shirted top seed. She's been in the driving seat throughout and has always been in front in this match, keeping Sun Yu in her place, doing a good job and managing the weight of expectation very, very well is Lee at the moment. Showed the head-to-head of 5-1 in her favour, and it looks at the moment like it's going to become 6-1. It's not to take anything away from Sun Yu. She's been really up against it, but she's trailing 4 points now with lots to do. And as good as she is, you sense the experience of the current Olympic champion. Just that little bit too much. The deception.
11-7.
The slice, the reverse slice that she's used to good effect to expose all of those spaces on the court. Good. Sun Yu so desperate to stay in touch. Just wide. That was a huge point in the overall context of this match. Just an indication that she's having to play very, very close to lines, which almost tell you something about her mindset. She's having to take extra risks, as you'd imagine against the world number 3, former world number 1. Look at that, brilliant from Lee. And again, playing close to lines, but she's making it, you know, and that's the subtle difference on the evidence of what we've seen so far. Sun Yu just missing more often. Lee finds the inside of the line. Oh, it's on. The disbelief there in that gesture. Well in. Head in hands after that one for the top seed. That was a shocker. Builds along with a generous clear.
10, 13.
And Sun Yu closing down the gap yet again from 5 to 3.
Service over. 14, 10.
So Lee with the serving advantage. Now, can she compound the misery onto Sun Yu here? Yeah, it's wonderful. Just keeping those clears and lifts down to the backhand side of Xuerui, and then exposing that forehand angle. Keeping her over on the left side of the court. Look at that, wonderful clear, and then that opened up the angle for the forehand smash. Oh, beautiful slice. Again, for me, that's been a massive difference between these two. Xuerui has really exposed this very, very well, as she has the reverse slice as well. And it's a good pattern of play to use against a tall, strong player. That short angle is very tough to get up to quickly, let alone control. And when you're losing points, the tiredness compounds, and Sun Yu must feel like she's sort of a step behind almost continuously as she's chasing the point sometimes in these long, drawn-out exchanges. There's the reverse slice again I was telling you about. Oh, that's a wonderful recovery. Really good turnaround from Sun Yu there. Crowd lusting after more out here. That was a really good dig. One in which the opening game she didn't even see coming. They were hit for clean winners prior. But now she's dialed in. She's onto it. She's seen enough of that pattern of play, and she's trying to close the door on that attack from Xuerui. That's how you hit the smash. Got to wait behind it and really pulled the trigger down the line there, did Sun Yu. Take a look at this one. Lee unable to do not an awful lot with that lift, but punished for it. Kind of got behind her, that's why. So from 15-11 to 15-13, Sun Yu with a run of 2. Oh, blissful. Could watch that time and again. It's high risk, but she's executed beautifully. Just look at this return of serve. Wonderful. Tight to the line. Sun Yu straining every sinew, but unable to get a racket on that one. Court attendant's been on, he's wiping the other side of the court. Sun Yu just taking her time. So Xuerui with the 3-point advantage here, 16-13 up and a game as well. Can she close out here and go for gold? Oh, a little too greedy with the slice. Didn't need to be that good.
14, 15.
Just as you thought she was set sail for home, she's been pegged back again by Sun Yu. Wonderful point here. Look at that. And again, Lee just perhaps choosing the wrong option there. It's easy from here though, isn't it? Great having you along. Hope you're enjoying finals day here from Changzhou. You're in the company of Paul Hand.
17, 15.
And it's been a real privilege commentating this event with so many superstars in it, frankly. Chen Long, Lin Dang, Li Xuerui. So she draws back level then. Who'd have thought that a few minutes ago when the momentum looked really in Louise' favour? To remind those of you just joining us, she was 15-11 up. 4 points in it. Back level now, though. Oh, there's a real gritty, steely look in the eye of Sun Yu. Playing some very determined badminton right now. Bringing her best when it matters most. In this game, anyhow. 4 in a row for her. That's a PB. Personal best, I should say. Oh, did that topple over? Yes, it did. No, it didn't. Sun Yu with the point here. Didn't quite wriggle over that one. We thought about it though, didn't it? It bobbled and teetered on top of the net. Well, we're all spellbound by what she's been producing of late. 5 points in a row, and the bubble just burst. Lee stays in touch. She's a point behind now. Taking her time as if to let that sink into the psyche of Sun Yu. Oh, now that will go down as an unforced error. That'll disappoint. Collective sigh from the crowd here in Changzhou. As we head towards the business end of this match now, each of these points just seemingly so important. Sun Yu very imposing overhead. That one was okay, but that one far too short. Gets her leg well behind the shuttle on each of those smashes. So 1 point advantage for Sun Yu. 2 points away from treating us to a third and deciding game here in this ladies singles final. Not so, picked back to 19 all. The wonderful point from Li Xuerui. Crowd enjoyed it. Some good flat hard drives right at Sun Yu. Needs to stay in touch with those patterns of play that sealed the opening game, does Li. Oh, So after 46 minutes then, Sun Yu carves out a game point opportunity here to level up with the top seed and take this match further. Denied last week at the Singapore Open in the final by Ratchanok the Thai player. Not so at the moment. She's lived dangerously throughout, but she's levelled up here, and credit to the young 22-year-old. Playing some fine badminton. High percentage choices there from Sun Yu. Asking another question. Lee gets a little greedy. So, what a contest unfolding here. Drama to the full. Changzhou. Confirmation of the scoreline then, level in games. A decider awaits. So no coach present because it's an all-Chinese affair. These two have to work it out for themselves. Now, is the experience going to tell of the reigning Olympic champion from the summer of 2012 in London? Or will it be the young, tenacious Sun Yu, who fought so well there and managed to generate a run of 5 consecutive points in the middle of that game, which was frankly quite remarkable when we all thought it was pretty much done and dusted. Really played well. So just over 3/4 of an hour have elapsed here.
Final game.
Changzhou, Bonny China Masters. We've seen the mixed doubles final. Honours went to Zhu Chen and Ma Jin. Their 3rd title here at this venue. They won in 2011, 2012 and now 2016. So it's going to be Sun Yu to get us underway at the bottom of your picture in this deciding game of the women's singles final. Unusually, Sun Yu never really recovered the court there. Middle of the court always changing, of course, depending on where you hit the shuttle, but I'm surprised she completely misread the situation there. Well, the question on everybody's lips is how will both players manage the occasion, if you will. Well, Lee far more experienced in finals. She's had over 20 career titles to her name. Sun Yu, well, she's been in that big occasion. She won the Singapore Open last year. Lost last week in the final. We keep on about that to Intanon, current world #1 as a consequence, the Thai player. But she's been there. And she knows what to expect. It's a vibrant, generous crowd in today. No surprise as well. With all of the stars in today's order of play. Finals day here. Main draw started on the Tuesday. These guys have been beavering away for 6 days or so. Oh, that's a lucky turnaround for Li Xuerui, who extends her lead to 4 in this deciding game. Did really well there, went for this reverse slice. Got lucky with the tape as well. Desperate for the towel. profusely sweating. It's pretty warm in here. It's been actually, you know, relatively quite chilly over the last couple of days. We've had a lot of rain outside. And, the rain has abated overnight, but it's still not that warm. It's still, the court temperature is considerably higher. A lot of people in the arena, that's why. It's a real hustle and bustle affair. Crowds filling right up to the rafters here in the Olympic Sports Centre, Sinchen. Oh, she misses the slice. Now, surely Lee will not be denied in this game with that kind of a lead. That said, though, she was leading all the way in the last game as well. Until the very last minute. Yeah, and eclipsing all the fine work in the middle game, then Lee Xuerui has started with a sparkle in this deciding game. 7 points in a row, her maximum consecutive run throughout the match. She managed 4 prior to that. Sun had had 5. Oh, this is wonderful. Fully dialed in there, fully focused. Running away with this deciding game. And again, Sun Yu left that right side of the court fully open. Didn't anticipate that at all. Lee, to be fair, playing very deceptive. Oh, I do love those flat hard exchanges. Oh, it's a wonderful finish. She's been so effective overhead. Sun Yu, very powerful. When she gets behind it, she gives it a good old clout. Let's see it again. Well, to be fair, it was a very short attempted lift. Well, I think with the lead of this, and again, so intruding my own thoughts there, Sun Yu, again, in the opening game was missing from left to right quite a bit. Seems to be coming back to haunt her. So now, of course, Lee Xuerui can just be that little bit more imaginative, a bit more expansive with her badminton. Because of this generous lead that she has, she can take more risks, but has to guard against complacency. Wonderful angle net shot. Yeah, and you can just sense the pressure building on the 22-year-old shoulders. Sun Yu just taking risks that indicate that she's fatiguing now, really playing catch-up in most of these points. The reigning Olympic champion really accelerating away. 11-1 at the mid-game interval. Hard, heavy rock music, then synonymous with the heavy play that Lee is insisting on right now. What a sparkling start she's had from the start of that deciding game. And that look from Sun Yu says it all, doesn't it? She's just made good the defences and so frugal in error, making so few mistakes and really moving the shuttle round to all four corners very, very effectively. So Lee then with a huge advantage here in this deciding game of the women's singles, 11-1 up. But of course, one thing we've not spoken about, it's not been, we've not really needed to, but you know, it's easy for a less experienced player to see this huge lead as like they're almost home and dry and they can almost see themselves on the winner's podium, blah, blah, blah. But actually, you know, there's quite a lot to do still, make no mistake about it. And it's where lesser experienced players can lose their way as a consequence of that as well. Lee Xuerui, I doubt she'll slip up now, but, you know, stranger things have happened. It's pro sport. We've seen it all before. Leads can evaporate very quickly. Not for the world number 3, one would have thought. Oh, little lady luck again. She's had a few net boards in her favour, Lee Xuerui. And to be fair, she was the better player, not only for the first game, but the majority of the second game. Sun Yu just producing some brilliance to turn that middle game around. But Lee now in a very commanding position. And despite the blip in that second game, normal service has resumed in this one. So quick to pounce in the front court. Look at this. Watch the response to this. Boom, there she goes. Big first step. Not to be denied. So it seems that the lesser ranked players understandably have to play almost red lining with their intensity just to contest against the best players in the world. Sun Yu, well, she was 9th in the world at the end of last year after the Singapore Open, but it's all going the way of Lee Xuerui, and Sun Yu just kind of trying to buy some time and collect her thoughts, because her mind right now must be like a washing machine. It's really starting to spin very, very fast. Lee is all over this deciding game. Just 5 points away from the title. And a roar of approval from her as well. A message that she will not be denied. We've asked the question, how will she live with the lead? And the answer emphatically is very well, thank you.
17-2.
Sun Yu, well, she showed good fortitude, shown a lot of attitude and application. She came to the party in the second game, played some really good badminton. It's been a good learning experience for her, but again, the head-to-head was right. 5-1 in the favour of Lee. On the cusp of 6-1, you feel now. A little bit more speed, agility, a bit more dexterity, good athletic defense as well, nice soft hands. Not quite as many errors. And that consistency is why she's ranked 3rd in the world. A bit too greedy there, but she can be with a 15-point lead.
4-18.
So totally orchestrating affairs out here in this deciding game. Oh,
Very close.
well, we've seen it at times, that reverse slice so effective. Just missing.
5, 19.
Well, it was almost the Houdini-esque escape for Sun Yu, but not so. It's plain sailing, this deciding game for Lee. A little lopsided affair.
6, 19. Very close. Ranking, match point 6.
So after 62 minutes then, just over an hour, 13 match points for Li Xuerui.
10.
Sealed with ease. It was a spirited fight in that second game from Sun Yu, unable to sustain, but unrelenting pressure and deserved adulation for Li Xuerui. Top seed winning the women's singles title.
21 by Li Xuerui, 21, 15.
It's her
19,
first
21, 21,
Bonny
6.
China Masters title, and she'll be delighted with that one. What a way to finish. Accurate throughout. Showing good fortitude and application, particularly at the start of that deciding game. Confirmation of the score then, 21-16, 19-21 and 21-6. Just over an hour played in that all-Chinese battle as the court officials leave the court. We'll be getting ready for our presentation ceremony quickly, and then on to the blue ribbon event of today, the men's singles final between the top two seeds in the event, Chen Long and Lin Dan. A little bit of pre-match entertainment for you. So just awaiting our presentation ceremony then for the women's singles. Yeah. Photographers in place in the just above the left of the middle of your picture there, above the court. The red carpet is rolled out. It's all a pretty quick and punchy affair as we hit almost 3 o'clock local time here in Changzhou, Jiangsu province, China.
We are now about to start the awarding ceremony. Let's welcome our Prix team.
现在请本次大赛组委会执行主任、国家体育总局乒乓球羽毛球运动管理中心副主任、中国羽毛球协会副主席李友波先生为担任本次大赛的裁判长Ivanka和 Bonny 女士、副裁判长Chao先生、刘宪女士以及编排长曹 光荣先生颁发纪念牌。
Let's welcome Mr. Lee Yong-guo, Deputy Director General of Table Tennis and Badminton.
So appreciation to the referees then, the refereeing team being presented with commemorative plates.
Mrs. Janan Kapoor, Mr. Cha Yan-ko, Mrs. Liu Shen, and Mr. Zhao Rong.
请颁奖嘉宾和裁判长合影留念。
Let's welcome our distinguished guests to take
Some
photos.
photos, gracious for all their hard work.
请颁奖嘉宾与裁判长退场。
Distinguished guests.
So the referees leave the court, and now on with the women's singles presentation.
2016玻璃杯中国羽毛球大师赛女子单打颁奖仪式现在开始，请获奖运动员入场。
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now about to begin the awarding ceremony for the women's singles played for the Jiangnan Rural Merger Bank Cup at 2016 Bonny China Masters, part of the BWF World Superseries. Now let's welcome our honorable players.
获得女子单打亚军的是中国。
So champion of 2015, He Bingzhao. Here's Sun Yu, the runner-up of 2016, with a smile on her face. She was denied last week at the Singapore Open by Ratchanot Intanon, and again this week by Li Xuerui, the former world #1, who played so emphatically, particularly in that deciding game.
羽毛球协会副主席李永波先生为获奖运动员颁发奖杯。
Let's welcome Mr. Lee Yong-guo, Deputy Director General of Table Tennis and Badminton Administrative Center of General Administration and Sport of China, Vice President of Chinese Badminton Association, to present trophies.
Mr. Zhu Xiaobing.
有请杭州市体育局局长朱孝
Beg
林
your pardon,
先
Mr.
生为
Li
获奖运
Yongbo.
动员颁发吉祥物。
Let's welcome Mr. Zhu Xiaobing, Director of Chengdu Municipal Sport Bureau, to present mascots.
Director of Chengdu Municipal Sports Bureau, Mr. Zhu Xiaobing, to present the mascots. Always makes the players
有
smile.
请江南农村商业银行行长蔡俊先生为获奖运动员颁发奖金。
Let's welcome Mr. Cai Jun, President of Jiangnan Rural Commercial Bank, to present
Cai Jun.
prize money.
President of Jiangnan Rural Commercial Bank, to present the prize money.
请颁奖嘉宾和获奖运动员合影
Generous
留
checks
念
then for the winners
Welcome our distinguished guests.
and runners-up of the men's and women's singles. Men's to come, of course. Chest out, tummy in for the photos.
Please leave the court.
请获奖运动员退场。
Honorable players.
And this is how she sealed the deal, the match point. So we're awaiting our men's singles final then. Our players and officials just about to enter the court shortly, I'm sure. Here in the company of Paul Hand. Terrific to have you along. This is our blue ribbon event of the day. Third on the order of play, this one. We've already seen the mixed doubles final, won by Zhu Chen and Ma Jin for their third title here at the Bonny China Masters. Li Xuerui, the top seed in the women's singles. She won against Sun Yu. We just saw that, the 5th seed. Now, after the men's singles, we've got the women's doubles, Luo Ying and Luo Yu. The top seeds, they're up against Ching Chen. Just seen some of her in the mixed doubles final up first, and Jia Yifan. But turning our attention then to this one, men's singles. Chen Long, the top of the draw, coming through fairly emphatically, as did Lin Dan as well from the bottom of the draw. So it's every tournament director and referee's dream, this one, to have these two meeting in the final. Indeed, it's their 10th ever meeting, and that is a talking point in itself, which we'll get on to soon. But Chen Long, well, he conceded a game in his semi-final